Hi, my name is Seung. I am the current principal for Stuyvesant High School. 유승청, 한국 사람이 이 좋은 학교의 교장님 돼서 영광입니다. When I was selected, that was something that did cross my mind, that there had not been a Korean American and male principal of a specialized high school. And so there is a bit of history involved in this now, that I will serve as the first Korean American principal of a specialized high school. I'm clearly proud of it. I think my family, after I told them, they were very proud. But I also know too that I represent more than myself and my family. I do represent an entire community. And so, you know, my goal is to make sure that Stuyvesant continues to maintain its excellence, for me to do the type of work that I know I'm capable of, and one that I will be tremendously proud to represent Korean Americans across the city and across the country. I do believe leadership is extremely important. I think the principal role is the hardest and the most demanding position in education, but also the most gratifying. And I want other Korean Americans to be in this role, because I think it's incredibly important. Because it's more than just affecting one classroom. You're affecting an entire school, as well as the staff and the school community. And so there is a tremendous responsibility in this, but the opportunity to make substantive change. And I think, I think being in the role is a tremendous privilege. And I'd love to see more Korean Americans, and would love to mentor and be a model for other Korean Americans who are interested in education, and in particular interested in moving into a principal role. In high school, I was student body president. I was the starting quarterback, and we won a state championship in football my senior year. And, you know, I was top 10 in my class. I really loved high school. And the reason why I believe I was so successful was because I was surrounded by so many adults and so many peers who believed in me. And that really changed my trajectory. And so everything that I've done has always been in a leadership role. And so those experiences starting in high school, in many ways, set my trajectory for the different positions I've held, both in Washington, D.C., where I was, you know, an executive, I was a program manager. And then when I came to New York City, you know, I was fortunate to accelerate and move into a principal role through the various training programs that the Department of Education offered. And then was even luckier that I got to found my own school. But those experiences, and then, you know, my last stint in the central office, really have given me a broad perspective on education, both from the standpoint of being in schools directly, but also being on the outside of schools in the central office and understanding more about policy. I think it's been a very well-rounded experience, which, you know, I believe will be so instrumental in how I lead a large high school like Stuyvesant. And so those experiences are all things that I will continue to use and rely on, particularly as I navigate working in a school like Stuyvesant, as well as under the current circumstances where the entire country is learning and experimenting with how to ensure that our young people are receiving the type of education that we all believe they deserve, while doing it under some extraordinary circumstances around safety and health. And again, it's not just our students, it's our entire school community, including our staff, our families. And so I'm going to rely on all those skill sets that I've been able to accumulate. You know, my job as a new principal, as an incoming principal, is to learn about the practices and the traditions that have made the school successful, and to continue to build on it, while also keeping a close eye on the places in which we can improve. Our mission statement really gears around excellence. And to me, excellence is always about improvement. It's always about ensuring that we continue to grow as a school community, particularly in such an intellectual, scholarly environment. And so right now, I don't have a particular area or thing that I'd like to change, because I think it's incumbent upon me to learn first and to use the time maybe the short time that I have available to learn as much as I can. What I will say though is, my number one concern is our young people. And at Stuyvesant, we have very high performing, driven, talented young adults who are aspiring and striving to be their very best. The one thing that I always worry about, particularly for young people in this generation, is they're bombarded with a tremendous amount of information, much of which is not accurate. And so we're asking our young people to distinguish between truth and fiction. And so, I think they're really in a position where they have to synthesize so much information and make sense of it. And I do worry about their mental and emotional health, because there is so much that's impacting their lives from, COVID-19 and this pandemic, which, for most people, they've never ever had to experience. And so my biggest worry is just, again, their mental and emotional and social health, because academically our young people have proven and shown that they can handle and continue to manage the work. It's the other aspect that is that we want to make sure they're doing their best work because they're comfortable and they feel healthy. And so that is going to be my number one priority, at least for the first several weeks and months as we reopen, because we've never done this before. Many of our young people haven't experienced this. And so we want to make sure that they continue to stay involved and engaged with school, because right now it's easy to be disengaged. And so we want to make sure that that's a key focus of our school. And it should always be a key focus of school. School should be a place where kids feel comfortable and that they want to be there, so that they can really unveil some of their talents that may not necessarily be seen anywhere else. And so that to me is where I really want to pay close attention to, at least initially. And then we'll continue to examine what needs to be changed. What I will say is what's made the school build its reputation is on its academics, and we will continue to build on that. And my hope is that we're continuously recognized as a top high school, not only in the city, but across the country. And more importantly, that young people across New York City really want to attend our school because they know the opportunities that are available to them. Everyone wants me to have an opinion, and I understand that because I understand the symbolism behind it, and particularly for Stuyvesant, in some ways serving as a proxy for maybe a lot of the equity or inequities that perhaps the city and the citizens see. But I've been in the community for 3 to 4 weeks. I haven't spoken to everyone that I need to that's been a part of the school community. And something I really believe in is that what makes New York City and our public school system unique is that there is a focus on the local school community being the school and learning about the needs of the school. I need to learn more about the examination and again, the preparation that our young people need in order to do well, both for the exam, but also throughout their entire elementary and middle school experience. Because again, the goal here, in my estimation, is not to necessarily just be test prep, but things that young people have accumulated over the course of their time in elementary and middle school, so that they can be prepared for the rigor and experience at Stuyvesant or any of the other specialized high schools. It's important for me to know that the middle schools across New York City in all 5 boroughs, whatever neighborhood or whatever community you're in, should be aware of the opportunities available at Stuyvesant High School. And I imagine my counterparts at the other specialized high schools believe the same way, that we want the young people across New York City to know what's available, not just based on our reputation, but actually understand what is available, from our extracurricular activities to our sports teams to all our academics that are available. And so one, it's to inform as many communities across the city about the educational environment that we have at Stuyvesant, and then also to work with and partner with different organizations and groups that are helping middle school students prepare for that examination, for the admissions examination, so that they can perform to the best of their ability. I think that's really an important element here. I think in many ways education is fairly antiquated, meaning that we're following requirements, and I understand the standards and requirements regulated by each state, but I also think too that the way people learn and the way that people demonstrate their learning has changed and evolved, and I think we need to do that as well. Again, what I said at Stuyvesant is what made us successful is that there's been traditions and practices that have allowed us to be successful. We've got to find that right balance of maintaining those, but also evolving. There's a reliance on technology, and we need to make sure that we're following suit, because our young people, that's what they're the role they're coming into. My daughters know how to use the computer fairly fluently, and one's in kindergarten, the other's in second grade. And so that's the world that they are facing, and they need to be well-versed in how to utilize this tool. And so I think that's something that we will continue to examine at Stuyvesant. We have been looking at a variety of subject areas, particularly focused on technology, engineering, all of the math and science that we are known for, but balancing that out with the humanities, because again, as much as we want to have our students have the technical skills, we also want them to have the creativity, the soft skills, the leadership skills that I believe come from humanities as well, and really thinking about how do you bring those two roles together to be well-rounded. And that's what I'm looking to make sure we do, and we continue to do, and fortify the things that have made us successful while also evolving with the changes that are going to be necessary. What I would like to do as well is to be at the forefront of that, and I think we can be, because we have extraordinary young people, we have a really strong staff, and to be able to be a leader in the city, that would be a real opportunity, and to showcase, again, the opportunities that are available in our school, and make that much more transparent across the city. I think we all need to share our best practices, because there's a lot of great things that many schools are doing. I want to be able to demonstrate and showcase all the great things happening at Stuyvesant, so that we all can make each other better. But that is my vision. I'm pretty competitive as well, so I want to be known as leading a very, very strong school, and I know we have that reputation now, but I want to continue that and really be at the forefront, not only across the city but across the country. We've got an extraordinary school community, and I want to showcase that we're a wonderful example of what education should look like and could look like.